Once upon a time, developers paid players to test games. It was called a beta, a way to fix bugs, balance systems, and get real feedback before a game hits shelves. Then came Early Access, a system meant to empower indie developers. You didn't need a publisher anymore, you could show your idea to the world, get funding directly from fans, and build the game openly with community input. For a while, it worked. Games like Minecraft thrived in alpha, Rust and Subnautica were refined through community feedback. It felt like a collaboration. But that original vision has been distorted. Today, Early Access is no longer just a development model, it's a business strategy. Games are sold early, not because they're ready for feedback, but because the hype is peaking. Developers realized something. They didn't need to finish the game to make money, they just had to make it look good in a trailer. This is the new normal, and Krafton's Inzoi might be one of the clearest examples yet. Inzoi didn't just aim to be another life sim. Krafton pitched it as a revolution, a hyper-detailed sandbox where you could shape lives, cities, economies, all with deep AI-driven behavior. The Sims, but smarter. Unreal Engine 5, cinematic visuals, smart AI, dynamic day and night systems, a full modding suite. It had all the right buzzwords, and the trailers were jaw-dropping. But trailers don't show what it's like to actually play. And on March 28, 2025, when Inzoi launched into Early Access, players found out the hard way. There was something missing from that polished picture, realism. Not in the visuals, but in the expectations. Core systems are missing or broken. There's no deep relationships, jobs are hollow, Zoi's barely reacted to the world, performance issues even on high-end PCs. It didn't feel like a simulation, it felt like a pitch deck turned into a tech demo. Now what does that $40 buy? A menu system, a blank city, NPCs who don't know what to do, and hope that maybe someday it will be worth it. They charged real money for something that by any normal standard would be called incomplete. In a traditional product cycle, games launch when they're done or they're delayed because players expect to buy a working product. Early access breaks that. It lowers the bar, and Krafton, like many others, used that loophole to ship something clearly not ready and still charge full price. Krafton, a billion-dollar corporation with the budget to do better. Early access gives developers something incredibly valuable: flexibility. It also gives them something dangerous: immunity. Steam warrants players. The game may or may not be completed. When you buy an early access game, you're not buying a product, you're buying a gamble. Maybe it gets better, maybe it dies in development, maybe it never leaves early access, but the money is already spent and there's no safety net. Once you pass the 2-hour mark, no refund. In any other industry, this wouldn't fly. You wouldn't buy a phone with no software, a car with no engine, or a movie that ends halfway. But in gaming, early access makes it okay to ship a product that isn't done and still charge premium prices. Krafton didn't launch a demo, they launched a product for $40 with massive system gaps, broken AI, and missing features. And they did it with the full protection of that tiny early access disclaimer. So what does this mean for players? You've invested in a promise, and most of the time you have zero control over what happens next. And that's the heart of this issue. Developers carry no risk, but players do, over and over again. Will Inzoi get better? To be fair, Krafton didn't ghost the player base. A few weeks in, they released a public roadmap promising updates to Smart Zoe AI, more careers, more cities, relationship systems, personality traits, and better performance. They also released a full modding toolset letting creators build clothes, objects, and even core mechanics. That's huge. Most live sims don't give modders official tools at launch, but that doesn't change what players paid for. A mod kit isn't content, it's a toolkit, a way to let the community build what Krafton didn't deliver yet. The roadmap isn't a product, it's a promise. And players didn't pay for a roadmap, they paid for a game. And none of that erases what early access has become: a system where studios are rewarded for launching early, not launching finished. Inzoi isn't a scam, it's not a lie, but it's also not what it claims to be. Not yet. It's a case study in what happens when hype, marketing, and modern monetization collide. A game that wants to be a platform, but right now is just a foundation. Early access was supposed to help developers, but now it helps businesses more than players. And until that changes, we'll keep paying full price for half a game.